Kilie, when I clap, that means you have to be quiet so I can do my introduction. Please put that in there.
This happens every time.
Welcome to our last unscripted UGA BCM podcast of the spring 2025 semester. We have with us a large crowd of people today. We've got Ryan. Ryan, say hello.
Hey.
We've got Carson.
Hey.
We've got Tyler.
Hey.
And for the first time ever, Tyler, you're scaring me. For the first time ever, all she's doing has been laughing for the last 3 minutes of this process. We've got Kilie.
Woo! Yeah, Kilie.
I don't know if you heard that, but she said hey, sort of in the middle of laughing. Kilie is taking over for Tyler as our president for just the fall semester. She's headed into grad school. And so Kilie, tell us a little bit. I mean, I know I said you're headed into grad school, but what got us to this point? Give us the minute and a half version of it.
Oh, goodness. Well, Tommy called me about a month ago, and he was like, Kilie, we have a situation. And he explained to me, and he was like, you said earlier this semester, I don't know what to do when I'm not in charge of anything, and I'm not doing anything. And he said, I have an opportunity for you. And I'm starting vet school in the fall, so I was a little weary, but through a lot of prayer, decided that it was right for me to come back and serve one more semester.
Yep. And so basically, I think we've mentioned on here, Tyler is coming on staff to replace Ryan, who's moving to one of our local churches to be on staff there. And so we needed a president to get us through the fall as we usually do leadership stuff starting in January. And so Kilie's been a VP. My voice cracked. That was awesome. Kilie's been a VP, and she's served in a lot of different capacities with us, and brings a wealth of knowledge, and does a great job serving and doing logistical things and so forth. And so thankfully, we think that with it being her first semester in vet school, it's gonna work out from a schedule standpoint and those kind of things. So we're excited about the fall. But before we talk about the fall a little bit, what were some highlights, guys, from this year that stuck out to you as we kind of are sitting here today? We had our last event last night. What are some things that stuck out to you this year that you're just like, man, this made it a good year?
I'll go first. I mean, I was talking to people last night that that maybe it was their last time being at the BCM. Maybe they were a senior or they were going somewhere else. And that kind of caused me to reflect a little bit and think about, okay, what did this person in particular contribute, to our ministry over the past year? And just the memories of people doing the great exchange, people helping us out with tabling, people just being there at gathering and worshiping, like all these memories kind of came flooding back. And that was just a testament to God's faithfulness. Just to a lot of these seniors that we recognized last night served really well. And I'm certainly grateful for that. But I feel like I was telling this to a student last night, like, I got to see the Lord's faithfulness so much in the way that He provided for our ministry. And I remember I told this story several times, but the very first Welcome Week event that we did last year was a cookout. And we needed a grill that we were going to borrow from Beach Haven for this cookout. And we couldn't find the key. And so
that is true.
We couldn't find the key. And so I'm like, well, this grill is locked. I mean, you have to trailer the grill, and so there's a trailer lock on there. And I was like, how are we going to get this grill back to campus? Anyway, so we ended up calling a guy here at Beach Haven, and he instructed us on how to pick the lock to open this grill. And so I'm going through, and he is telling me like how to get down to the room to find the lock picks and then how to use them and all that stuff. And it works. And I was praying so hard. I'm like, Lord, like if you want this event to happen, you have to get this lock. And He did. The Lord provided a way. And that's just that was the very first event that we did.
Hey, and speaking of picking locks, another highlight of the year is that bit of information almost benefited us in Guatemala on our spring break trip.
Almost.
Because we checked into the hotel in Tacaná, And I had the in room. And Clay Cabrera, who's a member of the missions committee here at Beach Haven and was in my college ministry back in the day, just got married this past weekend to Emma. They were with us. And John Walker from Beach Haven was also with us. We had a group of BCM students and then some Beach Haven folks embedded with that team because of the partnership there. And I put all my stuff in my room, and then I walked out of my room and I went downstairs, and then I went to go back into my room to get my stuff. To get my Bible, actually, because I was going to speak that night, to head over to the worship service at the new church building, and the door was locked. And the problem is that my key wouldn't work. And so we ended up getting the master key from the hotel. It wouldn't work. The other person that might have had a key that would work, because we got there on a Sunday, they were off on that Sunday and they couldn't get a hold of them. And so I believe someone actually tried to use their lock-picking skills, if I'm not mistaken. Isn't that right, Tyler?
I did.
Yes.
They did not work.
It did not work. It did not work. So as we're trying to pick this lock and figure out what to do, we are on the third floor of a building, mind you. There is a bathroom window and a bathroom window that are side by side, right? And John Walker is a tall man with long legs. And so while I'm trying to get this lock undone, John steps from one window around the wall separating the rooms through the other window, like outside the side of a building, of a 3-story building, and comes in my room and comes and opens the door for us.
I think they opened it from the outside too. Like he reached around and opened it. And then
it was cracked because those bathroom they don't ventilate very well, so they was cracked. But yes, so he went from one window into the other window and risked his life so that I could get my Bible. So unfortunately, the lock picking did not work there.
It did not.
It did not. But we started the beginning of the year picking a lock, and then you go all the way to spring break in the second semester, and we really needed to pick a lock again. Just this time, we climbed through a 3rd-story window outside.
We didn't have the proper tools, Maybe if I had some lock picking skills, but the point is not the lock picking. The point is that God provided.
Yes.
And He did time and time again. My faith grew over the past year because of all the issues that we ran into. To be honest, and I was like, I have no idea how this is going to work, and. And the Lord said, you should pray about that and put your trust in me, and the God provided. And, I'm sure we'll reflect on other blessings throughout the semester. But I just know that my faith has grown a lot over the past year, and that's one of the main reasons why.
That's good. That's good. Other highlights, besides picking locks and climbing through 3rd-story windows?
I mean, I was a little nervous coming into this year being mobile about retaining students, but I was so encouraged by how fast freshmen got in there and were willing to serve our ministry and serve others. And it was just such an encouragement to see them walk out their faith and live missionally on our campus. And then it was also super cool to see students that had come through my small group or had been under my leadership step into those leadership roles and really take on some leadership and starting to lead others.
Yeah.
So that was super cool.
That's good.
As I was getting the small group leader gifts ready, I had to go into the archives of the year because not every small group leader had pictures of their group. And so I was like, well, I really want to give everyone a picture of themselves. That way it's all, the same gift and everything.
Right.
So there are a couple of people, I won't name them, but they are boys, of course, because the boys never have pictures of anything, that I needed to go search for. And so I went to the media Google Drive, and I was going through every single gathering and welcome week event and men's and women's event, everything that we had pictures of. I was going through trying to get good pictures of these guys. And it was really cool because I was able to do a brief, over the hour I was looking through these pictures, a brief snapshot of the entire year through the pictures. And I was like, oh, I remember that. That was really sweet. Wow, they really did a good job. But there's specifically one gathering that was, I don't think it was any special gathering. but it was just everyone ended up praying at the altar all together.
Yep.
And it was specifically a lot of guys. And that was just so encouraging. And a lot of freshmen and sophomores. And it was just so sweet to see them pray over each other. And not just like by themselves, and just the community that they really built, especially in the fall. Seeing that with our freshmen and sophomores was just really cool. And it was cool to be reminded of that, looking through those pictures.
McKenna loved that night. She
did.
created a lot of new extra tags. It was not an intentional thing at all.
No.
But like, it was one of those deals where as we were closing and doing a time of invitation, like it just kept on. People kept praying, and McKenna would add something else, and then add something. It was a good night. I know exactly what you're talking about. It was a good night.
Yeah, it was cool.
Ryan, you got anything, man? You're up.
I do. One of the highlights that stuck out to me was honestly last night at Pancake Night. Beforehand, we had a meeting with our new small group leaders for next year, and I was just blown away by the number of people that were in the room. I asked Aiden beforehand when I was setting out books, how many books I needed to set out, and he told me 31. We got 31 small group leaders next year. And I was like, okay, cool.
Which
but
we actually have more than that.
That's true.
Yeah.
We do. Yeah, we actually do have more
It's
than
actually
that.
36. So yeah. That's why they had to come get books from me. That wasn't your fault. That was Aiden's
Yeah,
fault.
no, absolutely.
Just throw him under the bus.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, but when he told me that number 31, I was just it didn't really register how many people that was until everybody got in the room. I took a picture of it on my phone just to kind of remember it. In my time at BCM these last 4 years, we've never had 36 small group leaders.
Right.
Much less, whatever that is divided by 2, 18.
18.
We've never had 18 small groups.
Right.
In my time at the BCM. And so to see that after, August of 2023, when I and just the other guys on leadership just really left leadership training with a burden for male leadership, raising up new male leadership, because we were in a spot in the fall of 2023 where if we didn't find some new guys, we weren't really sure what was going to happen next.
We were going to be a sorority.
We might have turned into a sorority. And it was just cool over the last 2 years, just really praying for the Lord to provide every guy that we need, to see that be provided in ways that we didn't necessarily expect.
Right.
We didn't necessarily plan for, but to think of all the guys and girls in that room last night that said yes to wanting to foster community and to build relationships and reach people for the gospel on campus last year. Seeing that last night was really, really cool.
It did sort of feel like either a middle school dance or an independent Baptist church. I'm not sure which one, because all the girls sat on one side and all the guys sat on the other. But what was unique about how they sat like that was it was crazy because there was as many guys in the room as girls.
Yeah.
And we've got, I think, only 1 or 2 more small groups that are girls groups than we do guys groups this next year. And so it was definitely an awesome thing. I think one of the things that's been cool this year has been some of the stories of where folks have gotten saved that stuck out to me, particularly in situations where some of our students have been very intentional. Of course, we had the night in the fall where we had 7 students get saved, which was an awesome night. But thinking about some of those conversations that I've had with follow-ups, thinking about, and I don't want to say names out loud because I don't know if that's their story to tell kind of thing, but thinking about one young lady who literally came to a Welcome Week event because her friend told her there was going to be food and live music. And our small group leaders immediately connect with her, invite her to be a part of a small group. She asks what it is, and it's hey, don't you want to find friends and community? This is a great way. And then a couple weeks later, she gets saved at Gathering, and now she's going to be helping lead a small group next year. Yeah. That's textbook. That's what you want to see happening. Thinking about the guy that came in, two very different stories. One young man that comes in the spring as a transfer student and had a church-based background, biblical background, but comes to me after a gathering and says, "Hey, I'm I'm not really sure that I'm actually a Christian. I've just been sort of faking this thing. Like, I've just been going through the motions. And to get to pray with him that night and see him like actually truly fully surrender his life to Christ was just a cool night. But then on the flip side of that, having another student that I met with, who we haven't seen as much in the spring because his schedule, but I know for a fact he's been plugged in and going to one of our local churches. And his story, the fact that he told me that like the night that he showed up to gathering was because some friends were like, hey, come hang out at this thing. And he said it was the second night that he had ever like read a Bible. Mm-hmm. And he gets saved. And I'll never forget, he told me, he was like, he said there was something in me that was like, I believe this and I need to just jump in the deep end.
Yeah. And
so there's stories, I mean, so many stories. I could go through the list, but just stories like that I think has been a highlight to me. Because, yeah, there's I think that when you do a great exchange, when you do 2x2 evangelism, when you do some of the on-campus evangelism stuff, it's not that you don't see people get saved. Sometimes you do. But a lot of times you're met in those conversations with either somebody that you sit down and talk to that's already a believer or somebody that there's a lot going on. And in 15 minutes, you just opened up a whole can of worms of more questions. You know what I mean? Yeah. Or sometimes just somebody that's just like, nope, this isn't for me. Great exchange with the surveys. Folks are nice enough to fill them out and do them with us. But sometimes what you get is more practice, sharing your faith, and you get more of an insight into what the campus is, and you don't see as many salvations. But I was told by a former pastor that I worked for, actually in this building. And he used to say to us all the time as a staff, he said, when you do like one-on-one evangelism, when you do 2x2 evangelism, when you do things like the Great Exchange, he said, you don't always see the fruit there. Mm-hmm. He said, but it is 100% of the time, God honors that when a ministry or an organization is doing things that way, and you see it a lot of times in other places. And we saw that this year. Amen. Like we've seen that this year. And so yeah, I think that's been something cool for me is to see Carrie doing an unbelievable job with our evangelism stuff, and to see Tyler placing an emphasis on that, and to see students truly mobilized to share their faith. And even though sometimes it's not those conversations where you see the fruit, all of a sudden a random student walks up to you at the end of a gathering who you've never met before, and they get saved, and you're like, this is why, this is it. This makes perfect sense. So yeah, I think that's been a highlight for me this year. So it's been an exciting year. A lot of good things have happened, and I think the only negative this year was that God didn't see fit with the weather to let us do Not So Super Bowl.
Yeah,
that was
he had other plans.
He had other plans.
Rosado's revenge was coming.
Yeah, that's right. But we'll be good to go and Not So Super Bowl again next year. I think that's
hopefully
Lord willing.
Lord willing.
The creek don't rise.
If the good Lord willing and the creek don't rise, we will be good. This year the creek rose.
Yes, it did.
Literally, it rose onto the intramural fields, and it was too wet to do anything, even after changing and moving from Prince, where it was also too wet. So. Yep. So I think that's a good segue into this summer and this next year. What are you guys excited about, whether it's summer or next year, kind of moving forward?
I think that we've established just a great deal of momentum that we just talked about.
Yeah.
Right? And whether it's the small group leaders or whether it's just our faithfulness as servants on campus, right? Like, I'm really excited about taking that momentum into the fall. Like, I feel like all we were doing was putting out fires for the first half of last year. And now we get to come into the fall not having to worry about like crazy tech stuff breaking.
Don't say that.
I know.
We'll probably have to buy a new speaker or two.
Well, we will have to buy a new speaker. We already know a new speaker's going to have to be bought.
That's right. That's true.
But we get to devote more energy and time and intention to doing ministry.
Yeah.
And I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
Not that we didn't devote time to doing ministry last year, we certainly did, but when you're having to, run around and buy stuff on a whim or fix things on a whim. That can get overwhelming.
Right.
And so I'm excited about having the opportunity to really pour into a bunch of people in the fall, and I'm really excited about that.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
I'm excited to hear from a lot of our students that are going out this summer and working in missions, working camps, working at churches, to see how the Lord used them and how they grew this summer from that. So, and even students that aren't doing that, how they're leveraging what they are doing this summer for Christ, and to hear how they grew and what they learned this summer.
Yeah, last week at our gathering, we asked students who were serving either in a local church as an intern, or at one of our Christian camps, or on the mission field, to come to the front so we could pray for them. Like 2/3 of the room, rolls
awesome.
to the front, and I was like,
Awesome.
if y'all keep coming, there's not going to be anyone to pray for you. Like, that was my thought. We can pray for each other. So yeah, I'm excited to hear about that as well. The students come back different. Like, they just do. Like, when you serve over the summer, when you give away a summer, like, you come back different. So, yeah. Ryan, Carson. I know, Ryan, your year's going to look different. What are you doing? Tell them what you're doing.
Yeah, so I am transitioning into an apprentice role at Prince Avenue Baptist Church. Going to be doing a lot of different things, but mainly with men's ministry and kids ministry, and a little bit of college ministry. Can't go too far from my roots,
Right.
but I'm really excited about just trying to figure out how to blend all of those different things together to better help the church.
That's good. That's good. So,
yeah, I'm really excited for our current leadership to see how they come back rejuvenated for the next semester, because this will be their first welcome week as a leadership team.
Yeah.
This will be their first August as a leadership team, and that's just a whole other ball game that they haven't fully experienced yet. Not all of them together, so I'm really excited to see how they come back and are ready to do that. And then also for leadership in January, new upcoming young people. Like, they're so
true.
young. They're going to be sophomores applying for
Yeah.
exec and stuff. So that's just going to be exciting. Some of them are probably small group leaders now. So
Yeah.
that's always encouraging to see how the leaders grow. So I'm just excited for that.
Yeah.
That's a good point, Carson. One of the things that I will continue to pray for is just to, there's going to be one or two people that really grab a hold of something and run with whatever their job is.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm excited to see who that is in the
Yeah.
fall, because there's going to have to be people that step up. And, we try to emphasize that from a leadership standpoint without putting too much pressure on them, but it's just the truth. Like, we gotta get things done.
Right.
Right. And if you can frame getting stuff done from a position of caring for people and doing ministry, then that's when hey, this person's got it.
Yeah.
Right.
Because it's not about just getting things done. It's about saying, okay, well, if I do this, how does that put me in the best position possible to minister to students?
Right.
And that's what matters. That's why we exist as a ministry.
Yeah.
Right. It's easy to get distracted by getting stuff done. But I'm excited to see who can kind of blend those two concepts the best. And that'll put us in a good position for leadership in the future.
That's like a great explanation of what you need in a president. So if you're one of our students and you're like, I want to be the president in January, well, you better do those two things well. I'm just saying, right? Otherwise, need not apply. I don't know, right? That was my attempt at a joke.
Yeah, that's good. That's
Kylie
good.
at least laughed, right?
And don't let your age prevent you from applying for president, because if you were at pancake night last night, you found out that your very own Ryan Perry applied his freshman year.
He
Yeah,
did.
This is true.
He did.
I did.
He did.
I was shut down very quickly, but
It was an impressive moment, to say the least. It was an impressive moment in the room that day.
Started conversations.
That's right. So I think one of the things that excites me about next year, there's really a few things, but we don't have time for me to talk about all of them probably. But I think one of the things that excites me about next year is the fact that there are incoming students who we have no idea who their names and faces are yet. And to know that the way that we have our leadership structure set up, that some of them are going to jump into roles within that first 6 months, the first year of being in our ministry. And so the fact that there are small group leaders right now that are going to be serving in 2026, 2027, who we haven't met yet. right? Like 12 months from now, there are going to be people who we're sitting in a room with the same way we were last night, and we don't know their names and faces yet.
Yeah.
And that is really cool about what we're able to do as a collegiate ministry. I think the other thing that excites me is the fact that we are so young, and that it like the old coach in me is like, I feel like this next year is one of those years where, like, it's like when you were coaching high school baseball and you knew you had almost everybody coming back. You know what I mean? Like, we've lost some good seniors, don't get me wrong, and they serve in so many good ways. So this is not to limit that in any way, shape, form, or fashion. But, like, I'll never forget one year we lost in the playoffs at Ringgold up in your neck of the woods. And I got to look at that team because we only had 2 seniors that year, right? So percentage-wise, it was about the same as our situation. Even though we had 14 or 15, I think, that were there that we honored last night. But about, it was less than 10% of our team was seniors, and then this year it's less than 10% of our group is graduating. And I'll never forget getting to look at that group. And that was what was really cool about that group, was that the 2 seniors were both going to play college baseball. And so we lost in the playoffs, and I got the opportunity to look at a group of guys for the only time in my career after you lose in the playoffs, or lost in the playoffs, and I said, hey, the cool thing about today is none of you are playing your last baseball game. And I kind of felt that way last night when I was like, because the cool thing about last night was none of them were doing their last thing in ministry. That's always the goal in what we do, right? Is that none of the, like they're all going to leverage what they do as they move on. But it's really, it's easy to say that as people are moving on, but it's very encouraging to be able to say that to people that are moving on, and then also look at the rest of the room and be like, wow, the majority of you, over 90% of you, are going to get to do ministry at the BCM again, on campus again. And so I think that's what I'm really excited about. Like I could see, like, if our Welcome Week stuff goes well and we connect with students over the summer and we connect with students those first couple weeks, like, I can see us going, is Memorial Hall too small?
Yeah.
Right? Like, I don't think that's too big of a dream.
No.
And so I think we're in a really good place because we are so young. That room last night, as we were like, what year are you? As we went around and talked to the small group leaders. First year, second year, first year, second year. I think there was 1 third year, like, in the room. And everybody else was first year or second years.
Yeah.
That's a good problem to have. It's a good problem to have. They're all coming back.
Yeah.
They're all coming back. Any last thoughts from you guys? Ryan, I'm going to let you take us out on this one because you're moving on.
Yeah.
You're moving on. I told Ryan last night he is continuing the trend. I think 7 out of the 8 campus missionaries I've had have moved on to serve in one of our local churches here in Athens or with the International Mission Board. You're continuing the trend, Ryan. So no pressure to Carson and Tyler. None at all. All right?
Yeah.
Lead us out.
Yeah. It's been real. It's been fun. And I can confidently say that it's been real fun.
There you go. That's good.
BCM is incredibly different than when I came in. I really got connected to BCM by playing Polish. And if you asked freshmen what that is, they'd be like, why are you talking about Poland right now? It doesn't make any sense.
Right.
If you know, you know. You're a real one if you know what Polish is. But I was talking with Jack Ramsey a couple weeks ago just about how crazy it is that that's how we really became friends, him and I, and how we both really got connected to BCM was through a crazy game of ping pong, and just the community that was built through that. And now with the building, community looks a lot different, and that's okay. I think in many ways as a BCM we needed that. I think we needed a change if we were going to continue to thrive as a ministry, which I wholeheartedly believe that we have this year. I'm confident that this ministry is in good hands. I feel very much a peace with leaving, which feels weird and kind of sad to say, but I do feel a peace I didn't necessarily feel last year.
Yeah.
So, yeah, all that to say, it's been a blast, and it is almost lunchtime, and I am so hungry that I could eat Cameron Lane. with all that to say.
How'd you? That is my childhood best friend. That's hilarious.
Let's go.
Last night y'all dropped a Brian Vance rant, who is the head baseball coach at Bowden. And they're in the playoffs right now. I think they're playing today.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
good.
Wow.
This
He
is
was
good.
good.
You can thank Mallory for that.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
We went up to Mallory last night and we asked her who is Tommy's childhood best friend. She said, I think his name was Cam, and he played baseball for Georgia Tech.
He did.
So I looked up Georgia Tech's 2001 baseball roster.
I was like, what's his last name? She's like, I don't remember. So
That is hilarious. That is so good. That is so good. Yeah, that's awesome.
Oh, yeah. So if you were there sitting at outside dessert theater the other night, we got Tommy. We got it.
That's true. We did.
That's
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, man.
All that to say, signing off for the last time. This has been BCM Unscripted. They will see you guys back in the fall. I will not. But it's been real. See y'all. Go Dogs.
Go Dogs.
Go Dogs.
Aw.